In today's video, I'm going to be going over the 5 deadly mistakes that you can make on social media that can not only cost you time and money, it could cost you your business. So this is one to pay attention to. Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie Lahart and I teach business owners, entrepreneurs, and content creators how to use online conversations to turn them into real-world customers. Before we get started, if you're new to my channel, please remember to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you'll know when my next video goes live, especially if you're looking for social media marketing tips. Okay, let's get right into this. My first tip for you, or what I'm calling your first number 1 deadly mistake, is not having a clear strategy. I see it all the time. Listen, I have been in the social media marketing game for a long time, and I see it on all levels of business, where people will simply jump into social media thinking, well, I'm seeing somebody else do this and I'll just do it because I think it works, or they have a big following, so I guess it worked at some point. And there's no real strategy behind their action plan. And let me tell you, that's a huge mistake in so many areas of your life. If you just do something and you're not really sure why you're doing it in business, and then you're like, well, I don't know if it's working, I don't know if it's not, and then your business is failing.
We are failing.
You don't really have anything to go back and look at and make adjustments because you probably don't even remember what you did in the first place. So before you make any steps, you really want to have a strategy for what you're doing with your social media. Because remember, your social media is not just for fun.
Is this fun for you? It's
not just about, I want to catch up with family and friends. If you're utilizing your social media to grow your business, it's a marketing tool. That means you have to treat it with the respect of a tool. You have to know exactly what you're going to be doing on it, why you're doing it, the scheduling of it, and without that strategy in place, without really knowing what you need to be doing, and that's everything from the kind of content you're going to create to when it needs to be scheduled, to who you're, intending to engage with, or maybe even partner with. I mean, if you're getting into any kind of business partnerships, or you're an influencer and you want to start doing some kind of sponsorships or influencer marketing kind of stuff, you really have to understand what your content's going to look like. Because let me tell you, anybody that you partner with on any level is going to ask you that. They're going to say, what's your content look like? Or what's your schedule? Or what's your intention? And if you can't verbalize that clearly in a concise way, it's not only going to make you look amateurish, it's just going to make you not look trustworthy.
That's not going to be good for business. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Because nobody wants somebody that's just stumbling over their words and they're like, why would I write you a check? And that pretty much goes for any area of business. If you don't have that trust level, nobody's buying from you. So number 1, don't be the strategy killer. These are the 5 deadly mistakes, so we're like sticking with the theme. So okay, so after the whole strategy thing, the next thing I see is the second deadly mistake is not knowing the audience that you're actually speaking to. And this is a big one.
The big one.
You have to have a clear idea of who you are serving or what your product is doing or the people that would need it. And if you're not speaking to those people on the level that they're at, then that message is going to be missed. And you, in result, are going to find that your business is not growing, or you're not doing sales, or people are just not responding in the way that you want them to. So take my business, for example, because this was a very hard pill for me to swallow on my own, is I was very good at identifying for other businesses exactly who they needed to speak to.
Nice.
And who their audience was and how to get that done, right? But then for me, I found that when I was really trying to put myself out there and market my own services, I got very much into that trap of like, oh, I'll serve everybody all the time. And I think this is the level I'm at, or I think this is who I'm speaking to. And I wasn't really clear. So I started putting out content that was really aimed at more like, I'm going to say high level, like C-suite kind of people. And you know what? Those people were not looking for the content on social media. They weren't the people there. I needed to speak more to the level of people who would be looking for help in those areas.
Hi, how are you?
And once I started doing that, I got way more response, way more engagement, and people actually asking me questions that then helped me to create content that was more relevant to them. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I'm at this level, but in reality, I was at a totally different level with different people with different needs. And that is something that you will be able to identify more, again, with the strategy in place, and then really pay attention to your audience and who's responding to it. You'll be able to really create that content that makes a lot more sense out there. Because remember, with social media, you have like seconds to grab somebody's attention. So if they're lost in the beginning, or they're just like, I don't really find this valuable for where I'm at, they're just gonna click away, and you're gonna get crickets in the background, and then you're gonna wonder why, doesn't seem like I'm really doing anything with my business, right? Because you're not speaking to the right audience. So once you have that under control, you will find a lot more results, and you'll find people are responding to you in the way that you want them to, and also be able to fulfill their needs in the way that they need them to be fulfilled. Because remember, business is about give and take. It's about you're offering a product or service, and then the audience member is receiving the benefits of it. And once you get that in your head, your business is going to go a lot more smoothly. So your third deadly social media mistake is not having a content workflow. Ooh, this is a big one. This is when we get all excited about all the things we're gonna do, and then we don't really have an idea in place of how that content's gonna be created, the schedule that it's going to need to be created, and when it's going to be published, and there's just really no planning back there. I know we already talked a little bit about planning, but that was kind of your overall strategy. But now we're getting into, okay, I know what my strategy is, I know the kind of content that I wanna put out there on social media, and then you're not really sure how that's ever gonna happen.
I'm not sure I'm ready for this.
So whether it's going to be you as an entrepreneur, you're doing a lot of this yourself, or you're outsourcing and delegating because you have more of a business structure in place, you really have to have an idea of how that content is created, like the whole timeline, the implementation of taking photos or videos or writing quotes or creating infograms, whatever it is, and then implementing them into a very clear strategy of how that workflow goes. Because if you don't know how the content's created, then you don't know how it's ever going to get done. So if you're doing something like creating a YouTube video, you have to do a couple of tests to really figure out, well, how long does this take me? And then once you have that down, then you can put that into your content workflow. Okay, it takes me this amount of time to do this amount of time to do that, this amount of time to do that. And then you can write it out into a very clear action plan of how those tasks get done and what order they get done. Without that, you're going to be stumbling, and you're going to be really playing catch up all the time. And like I said before, I have learned from my own mistakes. And once you get off that schedule, sometimes it's so much harder to get back on. So keep yourself on that schedule, keep yourself in the flow, make it easy for you and for your team. Because remember, the point of your social media marketing is to get more business. So naturally, as your business grows, you should also be able to grow your team. So you want to make sure that you do have that whole content creation workflow in place. So when you add team members, it's very easy for them to understand how the content's been created and what the expectations are. Because if you simply hire someone and just say, well, I need this, just do whatever you're going to do, and you have no idea and they have no idea, that is a miscommunication just waiting to happen.
I don't get it.
So have that plan in place, and then it's easier for you as a business owner to add people to your team, or at least understand what's going on in the flow. So at no point are you sitting there saying, well, I thought this was happening, why isn't? It just eases up all of the frustration and the miscommunication once you have that whole content creation plan in place. And in fact, once you're working on that whole content creation workflow, you also need to make sure that you have the right tools that you need for the right job. And I actually created a video on it, and you can just go over there and click on it and take a look at what I utilize in my business, which I call my social media toolbox, which I'm sharing with you. So just check out that video. All right, so the fourth deadly mistake for your social media is no consistency, no schedule, no clue, I'll call it. Whew. Let me tell you a secret about algorithms. Algorithms are all schedule-based, which means they want to see a constant flow of content coming through their streams, whatever the social media platform is, doesn't matter, they all work the same. It's constant consistency scheduling. that's what they want to see. If you are sporadically throwing things up there, like, whoo, hope that sticks, the algorithm will never look at your content as something that needs to be served to a valuable audience. And you want to know why? It's not that they don't like you. It's not that you're not pretty.
All right, Brain. You don't like me and I don't like you.
It's that they can't depend on you. So what your consistency in your scheduling shows the algorithm is that they can depend on you for content coming at whatever your timing is going to be, so that they know that they can then share it with that audience. Now, I know I'm making this very personal, and algorithms are math-based, but it works the same way. They need to know the consistency in your schedule in order to be able to show it to the audience. Because remember, they're also serving their own audience. So if you are putting up content like here on YouTube, and maybe you're doing like once a month or once every 2 months, you're never going to see any algorithm juice from that, because the algorithm does not trust you. You are not reliable, and therefore they don't really care what you're doing. And if you're thinking that your video, your content is simply just going to go viral and take care of it all, guess what? You can still break your algorithm love by simply posting that one piece of content that maybe it did go viral, and then you never post it again, and the algorithm said, bye. So keep your consistency in your schedule, and the algorithms will love you, your audience will find you and love you, and your business will also love you because you will be growing. So the fifth deadly social media mistake is one that I'll call the copycat syndrome. Yes, you've seen it before. You have seen someone whose content you like on social media. Maybe it's a similar business, or maybe it's a business that you want to get into, or maybe it's a business that has nothing to do with your business, but you like their pretty color scheme. And you're like, that's what they're doing, so that's what I'm going to do. So you try to copy them. And then you do all the things, and you spend all the time and money, and nothing happens for your business. And you're like, I don't understand why. They seem to have such good results with it. I'm failing. I'm a failure. And you are, because you're trying to copy a business that has nothing to do with your business. Now, let's talk about this. Yes, maybe there's nothing new under the sun. Maybe you could look at your business and be like, you know what? So many other businesses are doing the same exact thing. Maybe there's other entrepreneurs out there that you're like, well, they're doing something that I want to be doing. So what's really the difference? Why can't I do exactly what they're doing? And it goes back to the secret sauce is you. Your business is different from other businesses. My business is different from other social media businesses, because I'm different. The way I deliver it is different. The way I speak about it is different. The opportunities and the experiences that I've had are different than other people. And that's what I'm bringing to my audience. I mean, look, I'm not a millennial out there. I'm not someone who's maybe had other experiences along that line of like, oh, I didn't grow up with YouTube. I didn't grow up like in the digital age of always having a phone in my hand. So I could speak to people who are on my level and of my age group and my demographic in a different way.
Look at him. He's different.
Because my references are different. My experiences are different. The way I present and talk to people and the way I have, moved through this world is different. And when I own that, then people who are like me and understand me and also can respond to me and relate to me are more likely than to receive my messaging in a way that's going to be helpful to them and a way that they're going to be able to understand. It doesn't help if you copycat someone, but it falls dead within your audience because first of all, you don't have the same audience they do. And you're also, at a different business level than them. And you have a lot of unique stuff that you could be offering to your audience. So you have to own who you are and where you're at in your business and not worry so much about what other people are doing. And you'll get so many more results. And really just take it with a grain of salt. Like even when you get some kind of business recommendations or suggestions, or even this video, these tips and tutorials, remember, I'm giving you my experience. I'm laying out what I've done and what I know is valuable, but then you have to take that and you have to turn it into something that makes sense for your business. If it doesn't make sense for your business, it's not going to resonate with the audience. So don't worry so much about copycatting. You can see the steps and processes, but then understand you get to take those and make them your own and make it really resonate within you, your audience, and your business. Once you have that, I mean, it really is smooth sailing. There's always a little hiccup in the front. You know, you're just like, I'm not really getting it. I need to feel comfortable. And maybe you need to get used to like having very bright lights in your eyes. But trust me, once you get through that little entry period, you're like, I get it now. I feel more comfortable. I own what I'm doing. I'm speaking to the right people.
Oh, now I see. Now I get it.
And then what'll happen is your social media marketing will start doing what you intended it to do, which was actually to help you grow your business. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this helpful. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell so you know when my next video goes live. And if you have any questions about this video, just drop them below in the comments and I will answer you back. So with that said, I will see you in the next video.